Hello, faithful viewers, fans, followers, and the hapless, clueless people who have stumbled onto this through no fault of your own. I'm Okie Crab JP, founder and preeminent black market radish supplier for Abstruse Decapod, which features possibly hyperbolic and a novel twist critical reviews of tabletop role-playing games, because I felt like it was time for that on the internet, and I know I needed to be the one to lead the charge, your suave and desirable host. Today I have another exclusive Abstruse Decapod video review for the tabletop role-playing game Hot Chicks, made in 2008 by Decapod Unlimited, using the inverted 20 system, which is represented like a backwards upside-down 0-2. What Decapod produced when it was limited is unknown, and whether there was actual knowledge of the definition of inverted will also remain a mystery. Have you ever thought, hey, I'm a big fan of the uncanny valley and disturbing human-looking facsimile people rendered in shitty CGI poser art with vacant, lifeless expressions we've all come to know and be creeped out by, and impossibly round globes of flesh for human breasts, but really wish there was some way to incorporate handguns, torture, and molestation by demons, aliens, and the undead, but the fatal role-playing game seems too subtle? If so, I have news for you. Good news for you. Along with the suggestion of seeking your nearest mental health professional. Hot Chicks, the role-playing game, is here, and the cover alone lets you know that yes, it is for you, Leonard McCoy. Bask in the warm pink and red of the Hot Chicks cover, with demon hands and cyber skeleton claws alike, appearing to have been about to try to grope the heroine, who has pulled out pistols and shot the appendage owners, while an apparently skinless human tries out for the new season of Glee in the background. Turning the page, we find a country girl with crazy socks and shoes, and a Sai, a reject from Avril Lavigne's backup singers holding two laser tag pistols, and Agent Fox Mulder cosplaying as Solid Snake with a tongue cramp. I might be wrong about the country girl, but I'm pretty sure the other two are on the money. I don't know, you tell me if I'm wrong. Yeah. Moving on, we find, a cyber skeleton, his loyal assistant, Silver She-Ra clone with a pistol, and the cross between Resident Evil, Cthulhu, and what's left in a Halloween bargain bin. While possibly formidable in their own right, I can't buy these people being legitimate main villains for the game. This almost looks like your usual stock CGI art for the purposes of having pictures, rather than relevant art panels. I'm sure that's just my ignorance speaking, though. While the credits place the game as a labor of love for a few family members and friends due to the repeating of last names, the fact there are females in the playtesting crew speaks a lot to the power of blackmail, possibly bribery, and possibly against one's own family members. Ruthlessness is a requirement in tabletop role-playing game creation. It's a sad but harsh reality. In a classy bit, among the dedications and thanks in the credits page, the Hooters Corporation is mentioned as inspiration for the product. Funny and poignantly sincere at the same time. I will delve into your product to see what lies beneath, Hot Chicks. Luckily, the disclaimer clearly states the game is written for entertainment purposes only, and puts to bed any notion that it is a textbook of the modern world or near future. Well, I guess I can put down my sword cane and nail bat right now, but they had me worried. They also disclose there are supernatural elements and adult languages and themes. In this, really? Judging by the cover, are you sure? If they keep this up, no fictitious people will be able to sue them. Past the perfectly serviceable table of contents, ass shot, definitely necessary. Why, they even give the reasoning for it in the fluff that explains one of the crack commando babe's underwear is riding up, and the next mission they go on to save their teammate will be by their terms, in proper armor and gear, rather than in bikinis like their mission commander insists on. So why are they still in their underwear in these pictures? Well, we get a pretty dry repetition of what is a role-playing game, except it's made longer and more boring by shitty CGI, though I do recognize the Baroness from G.I. Joe, and it looks like the actor Kim Coates with his beard and mustache. I can't believe these people weren't sued. All you need, though, is 2d4 and a d20. Now that's a recipe for fun if I've ever heard it. Yeah, 2d4. Every gamer's favorite die type, right? Because it rolls so easily. Bold choice, going with something the GM's likely to be shivved in the ribs with if the game sucks. Why hot chicks? The game asks for us, and then answers itself, denoting possible schizophrenia. Because gamers like them, and it gives them an excuse to have pictures of women in their character folder. You know, if Byron Hall wasn't involved in this, he seriously should be kicking himself. Lowest common denominator, marketing rocks. Believe it or not, if you read the setting and background info, the game claims to be about empowerment of both sexes. But women more so, because they're just tired of being objectified and have decided to fight back. In this case, it's against some sort of dark force of brainworm, alien, robo-demon, tentacle kangaroos or something. It's a little vague. They claim they will also be releasing multiple source books and more artwork. Yay. And they love getting email. Really? Do they still love getting email, I wonder? I think people should email them and see. Pages 11's image is kind of, I'm going to say indescribable. Not because it's particularly horrific in its intent, but more the execution, art style, pose. It's indescribable because you don't want to describe it, not really because you can't. It goes on to dice rolling and dividing numbers. Why does a game that features CGI boobies require you to do this kind of math? Now there are some clever ideas like the deal, allowing players to BS up a way out of things, or getting some good gear or ability at the cost of a GM-given flaw. Basically, they take the advantage-disadvantage system of other games and say, yeah, do that, but fudge it yourselves, we're not providing rules, which can work. Here, I'm not so sure. Starting at page 15 and going way too far to page 20 is the world of hot chicks, yet more fluff and setting material, interspersed with relatively bad traditional cartoon realism style art, rather than CGI. But there is a woman bound and in tattered clothes on page 18 with thighs larger than those found on internet fan art of Chun-Li. So there's that. And then there's something about human corpses and their uses, aliens and demon armies and them working together. And it sounds like it should be potentially awesome, but given the way it's presented, it might as well be a recipe for making oatmeal and accounting ledger fruitcake. Finally, there are some bits on martial arts, cybernetics, psionics, magic, superpowers, and what looks like world government conspiracies. So they definitely, at the very least here, hit a lot of topics. Whether those are done in large scale further in is, I suppose, a surprise. Because, spoiler alert, they are. They actually go into all these things in their own sections. The rules under What Does a PC Do in Hot Chicks explicitly state, kill the bad guys, take their stuff, lather, rinse, repeat. Well, at least it's honest and upfront. They get into specifics with how do I shoot someone, how do I punch, how do I use a skill, stab, do the Macarena, whip my hair. No, that last one doesn't seem right. There's healing, common penalties and bonuses, risk points, and oddly, on page 41, character creation. After all this, on page 41 is character creation. Oh dear God, I just looked at the page count. 454 pages. Is there some universal law that games like this have to be so damn long? Yeah, character creation. Oh yeah, people with blue windows on their chests. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. People in eggs. Yeah. I was lost. Believe it or not, one of the more disappointing things I've found about this game is it really looks relatively solid, unremarkable for the most part, but probably a stable system. Your primary stats are strength, stamina, agility, dexterity, yawn, yawn, yawn. I almost drifted off. This is called Hot Chicks, not freaking every other game. If you're going to go with hot chicks firing guns at demons on the cover, where the hell is Virgin Whore Vice Virtue scale? Where is the busty seduction skill? The immune to tentacle shenanigans talent? This is a completely bland vanilla system with stats ranging from 1 to 10 in the usual categories you'd expect. Apparently they think the novelty of the game concept itself and maybe the humor and the rules will carry things. But there's no nipple intensity, vaginal atmospheric compression rating, there's no anal dexterity. I really don't know what to think about you hot chicks. Let's go on and see what else there is. Drive stats. Aha! Merits and flaws. For some reason I thought this would be the same as the deal mentioned earlier, but there seems to be specific entries here. Let's look at a few. Whore in the bedroom. Okay, well, there's... So there. Badass. I wonder... I looked this up earlier. No, it's just being able to fight like crazy. Eat like a bird. So twice your own body weight? Probably not. I know Kung Fu. Okay, points for that one, even if it's long played out. Alright, the merits were at least creatively named. There's Whip It Out, for example. So, you know, there are some things that looks like there's creativity. There's creativity, that's what I'll say. On to the flaws. Let's check the flaw list now. Okay, horror in the kitchen. I give him points for that. That's pretty funny. Credit where due. The character is worthless at preparing meals. Yeah, horror in the kitchen is not nearly as useful as horror in the bedroom, I would imagine. Probably like cook in the bedroom. Probably equally useless. Can't stay dressed. At least it's relevant and keeping with the genre presented, and can have game mechanic significance. Delicate footsies, swims like a brick. Okay. The skills are broken into various categories and seem pretty solid also, if a bit over large. Speaking of over large, there's the flaws. There's Kim Coates again. There's a killer bozo clown that's definitely not suable for that. There's the president from the new Battlestar Galactica. I don't know what she's doing in here. But really, I think part of my problem here is Savage Worlds and minigames work with about 20 skills, and they work pretty well. This game has what looks to be, and yeah, I really did count them, 80 skills. They're broken up into different categories, but 80 skills? Do you need 80 skills for a game with women wearing nearly transparent half-cut bras on the cover? Maybe that's just my prejudice, but that seems like too many. One of the traditional art pieces used here on page 59 is a black and white image of a woman in a bikini with a fountain drink cup and her pants around her thighs. Okay. What possible activity must have occurred just a second previous to cause this baffling pose to have come about? She was drinking her soda, looking out the window. The phone rang. She turns, snags her belt on a nail, and her pants pull down. Maybe I'm overthinking this a bit. Now, past the skills is a section on running and jumping. Oh, past the skills. There we go. Running, jumping, lifting. So, are you ready for this? Here's the formula. Triple open bracket. Agility plus strength divided by 2 plus acrobatics, sports, or extreme sports skill, close parentheses, divided by 2. Yeah, because when you think of the game Hot Chicks, you think of things that need 3 brackets worth of mathematical formula. Simple and easy to remember. Now remember though, bikini, fountain drink, G-string, and then 3 parentheses in a formula for their math. One of these things is not like the other. Lifting, carrying capacity. This reads like someone photocopied an old D&D manual just in case they missed something in their own mechanics. There's even a formula for deadlift, in case carrying capacity wasn't a good enough barometer for how much your triple D-cup diva could lug around. Now, task resolution, building things, and a not at all copyright infringing roboskeleton with a giant gun and red eyes. Nice. He will not be back, probably. Combat section. Auto fire, kick from firing, suppressors, hit location, okay, called shots, aiming, standard, alright, grappling, kneeling, throwing, dodging, parrying, blow through, amputations, knockback. I'll give it this, for this concept of Hot Chicks, the game is startlingly thorough in all the possible conditions and effects that could arise. Breaking things, environmental hazards, falling, collisions, suffocation, radiation, electrocution, disease, poison, intoxication, thirst, weather exposure, healing, recovery. You know, it strikes me that it takes some games a number of supplements to get to this point, often with the help of an online community of people coming up with their own unique take on things, to equal the sheer ground that Hot Chicks covers in its rules. I'm impressed, but pretty confused, honestly. Coup de grace, there's the blow-through and the knockback. There's binding attacks. And I'm sure there's flash attacks, which is blinding, I presume. There's breaking things. It goes on and on. Equipment, weapons, and the repairing of weapons, ammo types, batteries. Really? Batteries? Batteries. Sheaths, sights and stocks, foregrips, bipods, maintenance kits. Yes, really. In this game, with enormous hooters, maintenance kits, and repairing your own armor. Computer, peripherals, electronic repair, software, toolsets, gadgets, wardrobe. This is just like I was expecting, only not at all, at all. Ammunition and various damage and multipliers. Look at fractional negative multipliers. What? Really? In this game? With these pictures? Batteries? With DR, I'm sure that's damage rating. Shrugs, this is how much they cost. Yeah, alright. Descriptions of the weapons. Ammo descriptions. Looks like the wife of the King of Queens in a severe lack of armor, shooting 2 guns. There's your accessories. Look at the sights and stocks. It's like there's like 2 different games here. One is a beer and pretzels game about hot chicks. The other is a super detailed breakdown of everything. Maintenance kits and a woman working on them. Some of the graphics do it justice, but yeah, I don't. Okay, looks like she's giving that away in a game show. There's armor. That was a cool picture. That is a little less so, although the pink hair is kind of nice, I guess. There's different kinds of computers and peripherals, because everybody loves doing that. You have to buy your peripherals separate. There's modifying and fabricating software and different kinds of software. There's tools, modifying and fabricating tool sets. There are rules for this, for building your own tools in this game. Why are they here? Why are they in this game? Gadgets. I mean, look at this. I'm just going to scroll here a little bit till I get to what I was looking for. And there's wardrobe, and other than fancy lingerie and basic underwear and a few things that are pretty much in keeping with the tone of the cover, at least, there's really not a whole lot of attention paid to the wardrobe. Housing, however, starts here with this. If your character has, they can automatically make payments on. Here's repairing and maintaining the house. And here's housing chart page number 1. There's housing descriptions number 1. Okay, I guess there was just one housing chart page, but wow. There's like 4 pages on housing. Freaking housing. And not just a casual mention. Full pages of tables and descriptions. And then you go to services and supplies. Oh, that's grotesque. I don't even know. Sexy nurse in lingerie with a bizarre look on her face. She appears to be surprised while eating steak or something, and her breasts are so large they appear to be Red Cross helmets. Not even joking. 21 pages at least of vehicles and vehicle-related information. And I won't even go into the 2 different types of massages and the services, but so anyway, vehicles. Yeah, with women posing on all of them, okay. And not really very good models either. Look at the vehicles. I mean, again, you have to hand it to them. They got planes, trucks. They spared no expense. They put everything in here. Rowboats, freighters, subs, and then vehicle accessories. That's right. Cup holder. Yeah, that's right. You didn't think there'd be cup holders listed, did you? There are. There are cup holders. Paint jobs, service transponders, spotlights, yeah. And then descriptions for all of those. Finally, there's martial arts. Here? Now? Why? Why is this here? This is the gear section. Should be basically heading toward the clubhouse. This should be the end of the book. Why is this here? Alright, well anyway, here it is, a martial arts section. And for some reason, different martial arts moves cost money. Like the $4,000 kip up. I have no idea. I read through the beginning of the section a little and still can't find anything, so I'm sure it's there somewhere. Forehead of iron, fist of flurry, off button leaping kick, blade flurry. I mean, they have quite a bit of martial arts things, so. And there's the lady. Now she's missing one sock. She's slowly becoming undressed as the manual progresses. And yeah, and then, right, cyberware, psionics, superpowers, and magic. Pages and pages and pages of these things. And guess what's after that? After that, at page, I don't even know, 250 maybe, is the GM section. All the other stuff is player info. All 300 pages. Okay, 300. That's the GM section. Let's go to that right now. There it is. 302. Page 302 is where the GM section starts. And there's a return of those weird characters from... Maybe they actually did these themselves, but why these weird characters? And that woman there looks totally out of place. The rest of them are all fairly realistic, but she looks like a Pinocchio or something. Anyway, it's not as long as I anticipated. It's basically the GM side of everything so far presented, such as the truth behind the conspiracies presented earlier. Good. I didn't know if I could take a completely new variety of sections and mechanics. And then there's the secrets of hot chicks and all that. Yeah, okay. Vitally important stuff if you're running a hot chicks campaign, I guess. And left hands and delves and Air Force and yeah, so that's what all that is. But oh, and now see, there's apparently the authors. I guess there's two authors to this, two main authors, Vic and Scott, and I guess they drew their own pictures with their perspective on things. I have to say Scott's the better artist by a long shot. Anyway, there is a sample adventure, Saving Private Princess, which it doesn't sound right, but it looks fairly standard as hot chicks can get. There is someone to save, but her code name or nickname is Princess, so it's a tongue-in-cheek nod to Save the Princess plots, and she's one of the members of the team, so I guess she's private. I see what you did there, Hot Chicks creators. There are some decent adventure seeds after this. A clone of a girl that died while dating one of the PCs shows up at a parent's house. A mad wizard unleashes elementals. I mean, well, sort of decent adventure seeds. and then an appendix of characters, and wow, is this a lot of character sheets of made-up characters that will likely not be used by any GM in any way that ever runs this game. And then past all these, which is like 12 pages at least, there is the animal section. I bet you didn't know it had one of those. Well, it does. Oh, it does. And this is not them. This is still the characters. Yep. Still characters. Yep. Still characters. There we go. Page 387. The animal section. 3 animals per page. Cats, bobcats, horses, dogs, bears, deer, pachyderms, lobsters, alligators, spelled wrong, 1L, triceratops, hippopotamus, hogs, crows, rattlesnakes, porcupines, monkeys, sheep, cow, hamster, wasp, roach. Nothing's in alphabetical order. Apparently they broke it down by genus or phylum or something, since the spider and fly are together. 411. So from page 387 to 411 was just animals. Then what is there? Math and modification. Because something with women wearing barely their clothing, naturally you need an entire section on math and modification. What? Why is this here? Modifying and fabricating your own weapons. Here's a simple chart with at least 8 different elements to it. Here's machine pistols and range percentages, and there's not a die roll, which is odd. I was really expecting that. Low-tech weapon features and more fractional multipliers, decimals. Standard tech firearms. I guess this is maybe how to repair them. And weapon accessories, because you can't just have something simple like you can repair any mechanical thing with this percentage. No, gotta have weird modifiers. Armor modification and creation. Computers. We're building a computer from scratch in this game, where you play hot vixens with guns. There are rules for building your own computer and house. That's right, housing makes its return. Constructing your own housing. In case you're playing Survivor, which, now that I think about it, does kind of make sense for hot chicks. I can kind of see this as with a Survivor bent, definitely. Making your own vehicles, that's pretty common. I know everybody wants to do that in role-playing games. Finally, the end. Formulas, armor, weapons, housing, in freaking hot chicks. And a proper glossary and index for hot chicks. Hot chicks, meet me at camera 1. I don't even know what that means. You are not allowed to have this kind of coherence and surprisingly sound research and treatment of various elements in this game. You are a novelty, sexist RPG that should have, as I had mentioned before, nipple intensity. There's hymen size. I don't really even know what this is. Erogenous zone resistance ratings. You are to do a 5-page book report on Fatal and learn how to throw all pretense of gaming out the window and stay offensive to as many people as possible. You have failed badly, hot chicks. Don't masquerade as one of these goofy, rules-light beer and pretzels orgy fantasies if you're going to put in multiple math formulas and tables for modifying your own technology, and you put thought into the setting. You have like 20 pages of setting and fluff and detail. That is not acceptable. Not acceptable at all. Open up a browser window right now and start pirating mainstream RPGs that deliver almost no content whatsoever for $50 a pop. Learn to internet. Overall, I give Hot Chicks 3 out of 5 padded push-up bras, due to it being much more complex than needed in its game mechanics, despite only using a couple of dice and not having a very complicated base mechanic or stats, and for really being so much more than it is presented as, but because of the way it's presented, being so much less than it could be. Thanks for joining me for this edition of Abstruse Decapod and Tabletop RPG Trash or Treasure, RPG Debris as it's known to some. I'm JP and this was me. That sounds good. I like that.